recording. And today we will talk about fractions and decimals. Yesterday we discussed together how to compare and order fractions. Today we will talk about fractions and decimals. So we need first to revise together, what do we mean by a decimal? What is the decimal? Now, the decimal, if you look at this boy, he's holding two numbers, 1 over 100, and there's another number which is 0.01. That 0.01 is actually a decimal, okay? The decimal is similar to the fraction in the value and in the meaning of it, but not in the way that looks. They totally looks different. They totally both have different way of writing, but they mean sometimes the same. So decimals are actually special fractions with certain multiples of 10 in the denominators. Multiples of 10 are 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, millions, anyone with zeros, that's a multiple of 10. For example, half, 1 over 2, this is a fraction. 1 over 2 is a fraction. We can write it in a different way, like 0.5. This is also a half, but we can write it as a fraction here, and we can write it as a decimal here. We read this half, or we read it 5/10ths. Tenths, because it's in the first digit after the point. This is decimal shows part of wholes. So when all the part is shown like this without pieces cut is one whole. But when we cut the piece into 10 parts, that's gonna be tenths. Everyone, this is 1/10, 2/10 together, 3/10, 4/10, and so on. Sometimes we can cut it to 100 part inside, so this is hundredths. It can be even smaller, like thousandths. So decimals can show parts of wholes in division of hundreds or thousandths or tenths or whatever. Okay, now this is how is the place value chart of decimals looks like. This is very important. First of all, you should know that in the middle of the decimal, there is a decimal point. This is decimal point, there is it. On the right side of the decimal point, we have decimal places or decimal part. So here we have decimal places. The first one, we call it tenth, then hundredth or hundredths, then thousandths. So as you see, we have the THS in the end. It's very important to put it because it shows the difference between the decimal parts and the whole number parts. Okay, why guys are you raising your hand? Is there anything? So we didn't start discussing this here.
Is there a number called millionth?
Yes, there is, but it's not used. I know it's a very, 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 very small number, millionths. Okay, طيب let us continue now. We are again talking about I'm trying to, okay. So this is the place value chart. On the left side of the place value chart, we have the whole number part. And the whole number part, it's the normal number that we know that start with ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and so on. Okay, so here we can read the decimal in 4 parts or 3 parts sometimes. For example, look at this decimal. Let's remember together how can we read. If some of you says, I can simply read it 2.39. Okay, that's right. But this is not actually the correct way of reading the decimal. The correct way of reading the decimal is to first say the whole number part. So we start from the left side. The whole number part, what do we have in the whole number? We have 2. After the whole number, we read the decimal point, but when we read it, we don't say point, we say and. So this is 2 and. Now there is a number on the decimal places part or on the right side of the decimal point. We read it as is, as if it's a normal number. And if you cover 2 point, if you cover it, what's left for you? 39. So just read it, 39. But in the end, since this is a decimal, you have to mention the value of the last digit. So here, after the point, what do we have? We have tenths and we have hundredths. And this is the last number. It's hundredths. So we should add the hundredths in reading the number. So in the end, we read the number as 2 and 39 hundredths. Okay, yalla, I want to hear from you. Who can read these numbers or these decimals? Who can tell me how to read them? Rashid?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Rashid. Part A. How do you read this decimal? We don't need the way of 0.7. We already know that. We need the correct way of reading the decimal.
The 7 is the 10th, 10th, 10th,
It's, again,
10th.
7 tenths. Yes, excellent. There is nothing in the whole number, so we don't say 0 and خلص, it's already 0, so we don't read it. So we go directly to the 7, and the value of that 7 is tenths. 7 tenths. Okay, thank you, Rashid. Let's go to Manar. Please, those who answered, don't raise your hands again عشان نعطي chance for the others to answer. Yes, Manar.
Part B,
Yes.
we don't read the 0 point. We just say 35,000, 3,500.
35 hundredths. Yes, excellent. It's 35 hundredths. See, we don't read the 0 because it's a 0. So we go to the 35 and the last digit of 5 is in the hundredths. Okay, thank you, Manar. Yeah, let's go to Muhammad. Memin. Yes, Muhammad.
C.
Yes, part C.
3
Hmm?
point.
No, we don't say point. What do we read the point?
3 and
Yes.
29
29 what?
thousands.
Excellent. Excellent, Muhammad. 3 and see there's a 0, skip it. 29 and 29, what is that? 29 thousandths. Yes, excellent, Muhammad. Okay, let's go now to, here are the answers again. The first one is 7 tenths and 35 hundredths, 3 and 29 thousandths. Okay, now we're going to the next part of our presentation. It is how can we write a fraction as a decimal? There is a very important note that you should know about fractions. When you need to write them as decimals, you should have powers of 10 in the denominators. You should have 10, 100, 1,000 in the denominator all the time. If we don't have 10, we should make it 10 by multiplying it by something to make it 10 or to make it 100 or to make it 1,000. And if we can't make it any power or multiple of 10, there is something we should do. We will talk about it. But first, let's look at this one. This one here is 9 over 10. We need to write it as a decimal. First of all, write the decimal point. We can't see any whole number. This is not a mixed number. This is a fraction. So in the whole number part, we put 0 point. There is no whole number part, so place the 0. Now, look at the denominator. Go back to your fraction. In the denominator, we have 10. That means, look here, we just need one digit after the point. One digit, we draw one bar in the tenths to place that number. What is the number that we should put in that part? It is the number of the numerator, which is 9. So we write the numerator on the tenths digit. So this is the correct way of writing this fraction as a decimal. Yeah. Now here, look. We have here fractions that don't have 10 or 100 or thousands in the denominator. So we're going to use equivalent fractions to make the denominators 10 or 100 or 1,000. Type, I want to hear from you now. The first one, 4 over 5. We need to write it as a decimal. But how can we make the denominator 10 or 100 or 1,000? Lean, can you tell me? Lean Hajazi?
Yes.
Yes, Lean.
We multiply it by 2.
Excellent.
It will equals 8 out of 10.
Yes, excellent, Lean. We multiply the fraction by 2, so we get an equivalent fraction, which is 8 over 10. So we have 10 in the denominator, and easily as a decimal, that 8 over 10 is 8 tenths, 0.8. Thank you, Lean. Type. The other one, 3 over 20. We need to write 3 over 20 as a decimal. Who can tell me what is it, or how can we write an equivalent fraction for this one? Hamza Al-Faqih.
Teacher, we will multiply 20 by 5.
Excellent.
And the answer will be 15 out of 100.
Yes, multiply the numerator by 5, the denominator by 5. 3 times 5, 15. 20 times 5, 100. So we get 15 over 100. Hamza, can you tell me how do we write 15 over 100 as a decimal?
You will put first thing 0, then decimal point.
Yes.
And after it, 15.
After it, 15. Yes, excellent, Hamza. This is it. We multiplied it by 5. Why? Because what we need is to make the denominator 100, because we don't have 100 or 10 or 1,000, a multiple of 10. So we get 15 over 100. That 15 over 100 as a decimal is 0, because there isn't any whole number next to the fraction. Point. 2 digits after the point, because this is 100 in the denominator, so we need 2 digits. We put 15 in the 2 digits. Okay, look at this example. Sometimes we can use another way for writing the fraction as a decimal, which is division. This fraction 4 over 5 is so easy. We can actually use equivalent fractions to do it. Like here, this is 4 over 5. We used equivalent fraction and we get 0.8. But can we use division for that? Of course, you can use division. You can divide 4 divided by 5. This is the long division. 4 divided by 5. How many 5s are in the 4? We don't know. So it's 0. Since we need to keep going in dividing. Do you remember in grade 5 when we can't divide, we add a decimal point and we put it up and we add a 0. This is the things that we should do to continue dividing when the number inside the division is smaller than the divisor. When the dividend smaller than the divisor, we add a point up and add a 0. So we have 40 now. What's 40 divided by 5? It's 8. And 8 times 5, 40. Subtract them, we get 0. So this is the answer for 0.8. But anyway, if you can write your fraction with a denominator of powers of 10, like 10, 100,000, it's way easier. It's easier than doing the division. But there are some fractions like this one, 3 over 4. If you want to use division to do it, not equivalent fraction, we divide 3 divided by 4. This is the long division. Yalla, who can start with me with the steps of dividing this one? Sarah Sahib.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Sarah, yalla. Let's start, remember the division steps together. How do we divide 3 by 4?
Do we need by division or it's okay if I do by multiplication?
You can use the equivalent way, but let's do the division here.
Okay. First thing, we add a 0 above because there is no 4s in the 3.
Excellent.
And then we add a decimal point.
Excellent, because we need to continue. Look, so we insert the point after the 3 and put that point up. Then
we add a 0 next to the 3.
this is it.
Now we see how many 4s are in the 30. There are 7.
How many 4s are in the 30? 30 divided by 4, the closest one is 7. Excellent, Sarah.
And then we multiply 7 by 4, it is 28.
This is it.
We subtract, it will be 2.
Yes, we're not done yet. We still have remainder.
We add 0.
Excellent. When we have remainder, we keep adding zeros and put them down. Oops. Okay,
And
when you add the 0, it's going to be 20.
And then there is 5 4s in the 20.
Yes, excellent. So 5 times 4 is 20. When you subtract now, it's 0. So that is the fraction.
It's going to be 0.27.
Yes, yes, 0.57 or 75 hundredths or 0.75, 75 hundredths, sorry. And we can use equivalent fractions. If you want to use equivalent fractions, you can multiply 3 over 4 by 25. 3 times 25 is 75. 4 times 25 is 100, which is also, again, 75 hundredths. Thank you so much, Sarah. So it's so helpful for you to remember decimal equivalents to fractions. يعني في some fractions we better memorize them. هو مش memorizing, not hard way of memorizing, because these are common fractions. 1 over 2 is 0.5, half. 1 over 4 is 0.25, it's a quarter. 3 over 4, which is actually 3/4, is 0.75. So keep these fractions in your mind. Okay, one last idea. What if we have mixed numbers? Yeah, who can tell me, if we have mixed numbers, how do we write them as if we have, decimals, how can we write them as a mixed number? Is Salman Sur here? Because I promised her yesterday to let her answer. Yes, I can't see her here. I can see her name. Ah, there's she. It's written best Salma. Okay, yalla Salma.
Okay, teacher. So first of all, we're gonna look at the 8. It's gonna be our mixed number.
Yes.
So we've got one digit number. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna add. So we've got like one space and there is 3 on it. So we're
This
gonna
is
put
the 8.
3 as the numerator
Excellent. Put 3 on the
and
numerator.
10 and 10 and the denominator.
10 in the denominator. Excellent. Excellent, Salma. So the whole number is 8 and 3 is the number after the point, which is the numerator. Now we look after the point. How many spaces do we have? We have only one space. So we have 1, 0, which is 10. So this is our decimal, our mixed number. Thank you, Salma. Type, we have here so many questions. We still have questions about writing. We need to write each model here as a decimal and as a fraction. So, يلا, I'm gonna choose Muhammad Sharif. Yes, Muhammad. Muhammad. Okay, I'm going to someone else. Yusuf Abu Ahmed.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Yusuf. Yeah, the part 1, this one. What is it as a fraction first or as a decimal, whatever you want to?
6. Should I the orange or the green?
Yes, the orange, the orange.
6 out of 4.
Why out of 4? All the circles. هلا we have 6 orange circles out of all of them. 10, yes. 6 out of 10. طيب محمد Yusuf, can you tell me how do we write 6 over 10 as a fraction in simplest form?
We should we should see the common factors.
Excellent. Yes, we need to find the common factor between 6 and 10. What is the common factor between 6 and 10?
1.
La, there is another number. We can divide 6 and 10 by another number.
Not 3. Not...
Yes, not 3. 10, we can't divide it by 3. We can divide them by 2, right? 6 divided
yes.
by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this is it. 3 over 5. What they need in the question is, look, a fraction in simplest form.
Yeah,
and
yes.
the 6 over 10 as a decimal is 0. Yes,
6.
Excellent, Yusuf. Thank you. طيب, let me go to Abu Sabbah. Yes, please. Question 2.
Then 65 out of
It's clear.
100.
Yes, excellent. 65 out of 100. What is 65 out of 100 as a decimal? Dean?
Yes.
What is it as a decimal?
I don't know. I forgot.
65 out of 100. Do you have a whole number?
No.
طيب, so it's 0 point.
Yes.
How many spaces we need after the point?
2.
2. What do we write in these 2 spaces? 65.
Okay.
So it's 0.65. And when you write your fraction again, it should be written in simplest form. 65 over 100, you divide them both by 5 by 5. So you get 13 over 20. Okay, thank you. Lean,
I didn't hear you when you were talking about the decimal.
It's okay. طيب يلا, let's go to question 3. Please اللي جاوبوا ما ترجعوا ترفعوا ايديكم عشان اركز باللي ما جاوب ابدا. Let's see راما ابو شويمة.
Teacher, number 3 is 6 out of 8.
Yes.
So we will divide it by 2.
Out of 8. This is the fraction. Excellent.
We will divide it by 2. And it will be a 3 out of 4.
Yes. Now 3 out of 4 is so easy fraction. What's 3 out of 4 as a decimal? We just said it. بالسلايد اللي قبل حكيناها ال 3 quarters. What is it as a decimal? Rama.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 out of 4. What is it as a decimal? It's 3 quarters. هلا ال 1 quarter Rama, what is it as a decimal? كيف بنكتبها؟ ال 1 quarter, the quarter, what is it? Rama, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What is the 1 quarter? اللي هو الربع، ربع دينار تقريبا. كم قرش فيه؟ شو بيكون فيه؟
25.
25. So the 1 quarter is 0.25 as a decimal. 2 quarters يعني 0.25 and 0.25 which is a half 0.50. طيب 3 quarters راما اللي هي 3 over 4. It's 0.25 and 0.25 and 0.25 which is what?
100.
لا, we didn't reach the 100. هلا 25 and 25 قد ايه؟ 50.
50.
50 and another 25 قد ايه؟ 75.
70.
Yes. So 0.75 is 3 quarters. Okay. Yeah, someone else. Let's go to Naya. There's Naya, but I don't know who's Naya. Is that Naya? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
يلا Naya. Naya أبو عليا. Okay, Naya. Number 9.
Number nine, it is 10. 4 or 10, and the sum form is
What's the common factor between 4 and 10? What can you divide them by?
We have to divide the 2 and
Excellent.
4 divided by 2, 2 and then divided by it's 5. So it's 2 over 5 and in this cell
Is what?
0.4.
Excellent, Naya. Perfect. Excellent, Naya. So this one is 0.4. The fraction of this is 4/10. If you simplify it, you divide by 2, so you get 2/5. Excellent, Naya. Thank you. Okay. طيب, Taysir, let's go to question 10, Taysir.
Question 10.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's 2 out of 20.
لا هلا 2 left بس هم shaded قد ايه؟
Oh, 18 out of 20. I thought the not shaded.
لا the shaded 18 out of 20. Excellent. Okay.
And the fraction is 18 times 5. 5 times 90. It's 90. 0.90.
0.90. Excellent. So what is the fraction in simplest form? 18/20. How do you simplify it?
I know how to simplify it, but memorizing the factors of them.
هلا 18/20. What can you divide 18 by? 20 by?
2.
2. Excellent. So 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. This is the simplest form of it. 9/10 is the simplest form already. طيب, let me go to the last one, Amira. I know we don't have time.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Amira, yalla, let's do the last one. Number 11 here.
56.
I can't hear you very well, Amira. صوتك كتير بعيد وواطي.
At 100.
What?
56 at 100.
Can you hear her, girls? Because I can't.
Teacher, now you can hear me?
أميرة أبداً صوتك مش واضح.
Teacher.
طيب, it's okay, Amira. I'm gonna choose someone else. Let me choose Zaina Abu Daya.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Zaina.
11, right?
Yes, 11.
Right. So the shaded part is 10, 20, 50. It's 55 out of 100.
Yes, it's 55 out of 100.
If we simplify it,
yeah,
we can simplify it by dividing it by 5.
Excellent.
So if we divide 55 by 5, it would be 11.
Yes, and 100 by 5?
100 by 5 is... Wait. It's 20.
20. Excellent. So the fraction is 55/100, as in simplest form is 11/20. So the decimal left, what is it as a decimal? What's 55/100 as a decimal? Easy.
It's 0.05.
Excellent, 0.55. Okay, so tomorrow we will just do few more questions about changing between fractions and decimals. We're going to talk about mixed numbers, just one slide left, and we will revise together a new topic. Thank you so much, guys, for attending the class today. Tomorrow I will try my best to choose different boys and girls to answer. But Dan, is there anything you want to say?
مساعي تحكي لي آخر مرة إيش اسم الدرس اللي راح تنزليه في يوتيوب؟
I'm not sure what they're going to name it, بس على الأغلب حيكون اسمه تمكين، بس بدك تكتبيها بالإنجليزي TAMKEEN.
اوكي.
اوكي. انت فوتي على الشانل تاعت مايار سكولز وببين عندك الفيديو دايركت، بس تفتحي الفيديوز.
اوكي.
اوكي. مين كمان كانت؟ سلمى بدها تحكي اشي. سما قصدي، لساتها هون سما. يس هيها. اوكي سما. يس سما.
Teacher, you didn't choose me to answer.
I know you know
too,
لأنه في
me
كتير students، في a lot of students are raising their hands، فأنا عم بحاول إني at least ما أنقي أكتر من حدا أو أنقي حدا أكتر من مرة. خلص بكرة إن شاء الله I will try my best إنه أنقي ناس ما اخترتهم اليوم، واللي اخترتهم اليوم ما ترفعوا إيديكم بكرة. Okay, yes miss.
Okay, thank you.
The class is finished, right?
Yeah, it's over. خلص.
Can we leave?
Yes, hi, I'm gonna now end the meeting. We'll see you tomorrow inshallah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.